to continue on, we had a visitor come to the door, so we had to take a pause for just a minute. But I was talking about mealtime manners. I was talking about all good dogs fetch toys. Attention, gates and doorways, food, and toys. These are 5 things that most people naturally give their dogs several times a day anyway, so make sure you get obedience out of that. Don't just give it away for free. Make sure you ask for something. Ask for a sit, ask for a stay, ask for a down, go to bed, a crate. Ask for something before you give these things. And that is really going to contribute to your bond with your dog. A lot of people really kind of struggle with that because they feel like, you know, we bring our dogs into our homes. They're kind of a part of the family. We don't want to have to rule and regulate them all the time. But dogs are naturally designed with a pack mentality, and they really, really respond to that. They like knowing who's in charge. And they need to know who's in charge. And if they're unsure about that, then they kind of get uneasy and they kind of wonder if maybe they need to take that role on themselves. Being the leader and asking for obedience goes a long way and gives them a lot of security. So go ahead and ask for these little checkpoints. So with food, don't ever let him just dance around you while you're feeding him. They can get into bad habits, jumping up, knocking the food out of your hands and different things. So always ask for a stay before giving him his food. Stay. Stay. And you can see that when stay. And when it's mealtime, he's really laser focused on that. Okay, good boy. And then okay is the release word, to release him from anything. Okay does 2 things. Number 1, it releases him from a holding behavior like a stay or a go to bed. And number 2, it's a marker. It's what we use to mark the behavior. It tells him, good job, you did the right thing, you did what I was asking you to do, and now you're done. Nothing more is expected. Good boy. And you might notice too that I was a little bit dramatic in my voice fluctuation between the 2 commands. Good boy. When I wanted him to stay, I used kind of an authoritative, commanding tone of voice, stay. And then when I released him and I wanted action, I wanted movement, I said, okay. Make sure you make good use of that. Dogs don't use language, obviously, between one another. They don't use words. They rely on body language and intonation, voice fluctuation. So they respond to that a lot more than the actual words that you say. So, you know, if you don't have to be chipper or use a woman's voice if you're a man, you don't have to do anything that's unnatural for you, but just use a little bit of a distinguish between the 2. When you're giving holding behaviors like stay, versus when you're giving active behaviors like come, watch me, okay. You know, that'll get action and movement out of them. Good boy. Okay, so the last thing with manners that I want to cover is gates and doorways, what he's expected to do. He's always expected to hold a stay before going through a door. He's a large breed dog, he's going to be big, and that can be a dangerous habit, just brushing past you going through the door. It's a habit that a lot of dogs have. It's called bolting. Can be dangerous with kids and anybody really, so make sure you always ask for a stay. And you go through first, and you can wait as long as you want, but he's expected to stay there until you give the release word. Come on, let's go. Come on. Good boy. Come on. You want to go outside? You want to go outside? Come on. Come on. Stay. Stay. Okay. Good boy. Okay, you want to come in? Stay. Okay, come on. Good. Stay. Okay, good. And that was okay. We took a couple tries. He was thrown off by something. Something was making him a little uneasy there at the door. But it's important That's actually a good illustration. It's important that when they do have a failure of some kind, don't make a big deal out of it. Don't yell at them, don't get mad at them. Bring them back, take them back to where they started, and do the whole routine again, and ask for what's expected, and then give them a release, and praise them. Good boy, for doing the correct behavior. Something else I wanted to talk about there, I didn't use any treats on that, but you've probably noticed that I do use quite a bit of treats and quite a bit of food with the training. And the training program is heavily dependent on food. And for the first couple of years that I was training, I really kind of struggled with that. I felt like they were getting kind of treat spoiled. That when I had food on me, they were very obedient and attentive, and when I didn't, sometimes they would completely ignore me. But what I found, taking puppies up through advanced obedience, is that for the first about 8 to 12 months of their life, every time you ask them to do something, they think about it. Is it going to be worth it or is it not? And if you always make it worthwhile for them, which food is very motivating for dogs. It's one of their 3 primary motivators and the easiest to control and have handy. If you make it worth it for them every time, what you do is you drive these behaviors into automatic behaviors to the point that if it's worth it every single time or very close to it, then they don't think about it anymore. It kind of becomes muscle memory to the point that when you give them a command, their body will follow through with that command before their mind even has a chance to think about it. For example, my personal dog, he's about 5 now. Actually, he's about 6. And he gets a food reward maybe once a week anymore, just to kind of say thank you and to let him know that what the expectations are. So you can get to that point, and it is inconvenient while they're puppies. It is inconvenient during that first 8 to 12 months, but it's an investment that's going to pay off huge over the lifetime of the dog. So, and what I've found too is that if you're inconsistent or very predictable about when you are and are not going to reward, then they learn that, and they kind of do develop an on-off switch. So they learn to think about it and read your signs and read your body language of whether or not you're going to make it rewarding for them. And so make sure that you're consistent with that. But another note too is I don't always reward with food. Anytime they're getting through a door, anytime they're getting out of a crate, anytime they're getting a release from something, that's always inherently rewarding. So I never use food for that. A lot of times we use toys for a reward. A lot of times I just use attention and affection. Especially golden retrievers, they're really responsive to affection. They love pleasing you. They love seeing you happy. So when they come and they sit for their greeting and you bend down and you just gush love on them, they really thrive on that. So use lots of different kinds of rewards, but always reward. So you drive those behaviors into automatic behaviors. So we've kind of covered our manners. Now I'm going to go into obedience commands. We're going to show you come, sit, stay, down, down, stay, crate, drop it, watch me, and go to bed. Come. Okay, good boy. I mark with okay when he gets to me, and I reward when he gets to me. Good boy. The next command is sit. There's 3 hand signals that he's been taught. The first is a sit. I got to get him standing first. It's just a little scoop up over the nose, just like that. And if it helps you remember, that's how he was taught to sit. We would lure his nose up until his hind end went down, and then he would be rewarded. Good boy. So that's the first hand signal. Come here. Sit. Stay. The second hand signal is a stay. It's just making a stop sign with your hand, just like that. Stay. Especially for a puppy puppy. Puppies have very short attention spans. And he can handle a fair amount of distractions too. I kept him pretty mild here. I was just walking around, basically not staying in one spot. I was taking my eye, I was removing my eye contact, breaking eye contact with him, turning my back a little bit, and he just kind of settled down into his stay. The third hand signal is for a down. Always start with a sit, get him into a sit, and then make your hand flat. I have a little treat tucked in my hand here. Down. Okay, good boy. Stay. And he's been taught the stay in both the sitting and the down positions. And just like with the last stay, I'm okay with them moving down. Like if they're sitting, I'm okay with them going into a down. But I'm not okay with them going up. Down. Stay. So if I put him in a down, I want him to stay in a down while he's holding his stay. Puppy. Yeah. So the down stay is a really, really handy command. And make sure that you don't stay satisfied with this nice 20-minute or 20-second, 30-second, minute-long stay that he's got. Make sure that you build on that and add what I call the 3 Ds: distance, duration, and distraction. Always add just a little bit more. Just every day that you're doing something, say, you know, I'm gonna go a little bit farther away from him today. I'm gonna go out of sight today. I'm gonna make him hold it for 2 minutes, for 5 minutes, for 15 minutes. For downstay, what I really recommend is if most people have kind of a downtime during the day when you watch TV or you read a book or something like that, I really recommend that you put this bed by you when you have that downtime, and you put him into an extended downstay on the bed and have his leash attached. Come! Good boy. Down. Down. Okay. Just have his leash attached and keep it in your hand, and practice extended downstays. Practice 10-15 minute downstays. And if somebody, you know, a grandchild or child runs across the floor and he gets excited and jumps up and tries to chase, grab the leash, give him a pop, bring him back, and put him back in that downstay so that he learns that when he's in that downstay, he's expected to absolutely stay there, no matter what kind of distractions. You've got an itchy foot, huh? Down. There you go, good boy. So, yeah. Let's see, we've done come, sit, stay, down, down, stay. Great. Okay, good boy. So he'll go into his crate on command. He does really well with that. Like I mentioned before, a lot of time and a lot of care has been put into getting him used to his crate. And that's because the crate is going to be one of the most handy tools that you'll use. It will save you so much dog drama. It'll save you destruction. It'll save you house training problems. It's just a no-brainer. If you need to take your eyes off him for 10-15 minutes to go take care of something while you're in the house, you know, for the first little while, just put him in his crate. If you need to go to town for a couple of hours, just put him in his crate. He will crate for 8 to 9 hours through the night without needing a potty break, and for up to 3 hours during the day. We don't do extensive crate time during the day just because they're still puppies and we still want to keep it positive and not overdo it. But adult dogs, there are lots of adult dogs who spend 8 hours a day in the crate at a time, and they're just fine. When they get out, as long as they get plenty of exercise, plenty of interaction, plenty of social time with you outside of that crate time, then they're going to be fine. I wouldn't do that while he's a puppy. You need to build up to that gradually. But puppies will sleep on average close to 18 to 20 hours a day. Adult dogs is closer to 14 to 16 hours a day, so they have a lot of time sleeping. It's very natural for them to sleep in their crate, and it's okay. We as humans, we have a claustrophobic instinct, and so we don't like the idea of being locked into a tight space. Dogs are designed completely differently. They have a denning instinct. They feel safe and secure in a tight space. They like that. Initially, they're going to throw a fit. That's what we're for. We train them to get used to that. So make sure you make good use of that tool. And then just like with everything else, always make him hold a stay before you release him. Stay. Okay, good boy. And then no treat necessary. Getting out of the crate was rewarding enough. Good boy. But it helps reinforce that you're going to control his movements. You're going to control his behavior because you're the leader. And that gives him a lot of security and bonds him to you. Good boy. Yeah. So I've covered drop it. Watch me. Okay, good boy. So watch me is a foundational command. It's one of the commands that we use. Watch me. Okay, good boy. Watch me. Okay, good boy. We've taught from day one, and basically all I'm looking for with watch me, a lot of people use different commands like look, is we want his eyes. The way dogs are designed psychologically is a lot different from us. We can be looking at one person carrying on a conversation and be thinking about something totally different at the same time. Dogs are not capable of that. Wherever their eyes are is 100% where their mind is, even if it's just for a split second, which with puppies it often is. So that's a really powerful tool for you. Watch me. Good boy. It can be a life-saving command. You know, if he's running out into traffic, if you drop something on the floor you don't want him to eat, if he's chasing after the neighbor's cat, the neighbor's kid, whatever, and you just really need him to break his attention off whatever he's looking at and look at you, just say, watch me. Good point. And then always reward with a very high value reward for following through with that. This is a command that I really recommend that people practice several times a day, just at random times, for no reason other than following through with it. Because when that critical time comes, when you need him to follow through with it, you don't want him to hesitate. So you want it to be one of those automatic behaviors. Watch me. Okay, good boy. Finally, we've got the command to go to bed. With go to bed, I don't care what position he's in, if he's sitting, standing, or lying down, I just want him to be completely on his bed. He's about outgrown that bed. We need to get a bigger bed for these puppies when they get bigger, but I want him to be all the way on his bed, and I want him to stay on his bed until he's released. So there's kind of an implied stay with go to bed. Go to bed. Okay, good boy. Good puppy. Yeah. Good boy. Yeah. That was good. Yeah. So just like I said, when you're practicing your extended down stays, when you have that downtime during the day, go ahead and send him to his bed on command. And keep adding those 3 Ds. Add that distance. Send him to his bed from 5-10 feet away. Send him to his bed from across the room so that he'll run across and go to his bed. Good boy. And he knows that that's his spot. So that pretty much wraps it up for commands. We've done come, sit, stay, down, stay, crate, drop it. I went through when we covered manners, and go to bed. So I'm going to go ahead and show you some of the leash training that he's had. Sorry, his brother's in the background over there making all kinds of noise in his crate. But that's okay, that's a good distraction. So for leash training, there's basically two kinds of walks that we take him for. If we take him for a walk that's for his pleasure, for his enjoyment, just to go be a dog, which they need that kind of a walk on a regular basis, we'll either use a long leash or we'll take him where it's safe to be off leash, you know, in the foothills or in a park or somewhere where you can trust him to do that. When you first get him home, I would absolutely not let him off leash until you've established a relationship and you're very comfortable that he's going to come to you 100% of the time. Always keep him on a leash until you know he's going to be 100% on that. But the other kind of a walk is when you need to get from point A to point B, and that's kind of more like a business walk. He needs to pay attention to you. He needs to keep slack in the leash, kind of this J shape, and he needs to be responsive to your verbal commands. So when I want him to go, I say, let's go. Come on, let's go. Come on. Here we go. He's kind of sleepy. I got to get him up and moving. Come on, let's go. Good boy. And when we're teaching him, we do what's called, come on, let's go. We do, let's go. What's called attention walking, which means we just keep walking. Okay. And every time he looks up at me, I mark it and I reward it so that I'm, come on, let's go. So that I'm, okay, good boy. I'm orienting him to me. Come on, let's go. Good boy. Come on. And I don't want him sniffing around. I don't want him, okay, good boy. Paying attention to everything else. I want him to stick with me. Come on. And then when I stop, I want him to sit automatically. That's kind of hard to demonstrate here in this little room. And I don't specify what side I want him on, left or right. Come on, let's go. I just want him to stick with me, and I want him to sit automatically. Sit. When I stop, and if he forgets to do it on his own, go ahead and just give him a verbal reminder. Good boy. Good boy. And then I just want him to be responsive to my verbal commands so that you're not trying to control him with the leash all the time. There you go. Good. Here you go. So, that pretty much covers the leash training. A lot of time has been put into his leash training. If he does pull, just stop walking and say easy and expect him to come back to you. Easy. And put that slack back in the leash. It's really important that you completely stop, that you don't, you know, keep walking. I see a lot of people keep walking and tugging and saying easy, 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 but they'll learn to just push right through you. Drop it. Drop it. Good boy. They'll learn to push right through you if you do that. So he needs to learn with you that if you stop and you say easy, he absolutely cannot continue moving forward. Okay, let's go until he puts slack in the leash. Let's go. Good. Good. That's a good boy. So, yeah. And then the final portion is a house training. He's been taught to go and ring a bell. And you can see, and you'll get a bell in your puppy packet. But we've just got a bell strung on the door handle there of the door that you're going to be taking him out the most often to go potty. And he's been ringing that to go out consistently, and he's reliable for up to 2 hours at a time in the house. When he first gets home to your house, I would give him more frequent breaks than that because, you know, they're going through transition. A lot of times they get stressed, they get a loose stool for whatever reason. I would just really watch him and give him a break more frequently in that until you kind of learn each other's schedule and learn what to expect from each other. Another thing too is he knows where the bell is here. He's going to need to relearn where the bell is at your home. So the way to do that is to take the bell when he's not looking and to rub a little bit of something on it that smells really good that will catch the attention of his nose, like some peanut butter or maybe a little bit of treat or bacon grease or something like that. Just a little bit will do you. And then let him sniff around and seek that out. And the first time he touches it, when he initially touches it, he's probably not going to be actually ringing the bell. He's just going to be finding whatever it was he was sniffing out. But your response to that is going to be what tells him what that means. If when he touches that bell, you're there and you're available to say, okay, good, outside. Let's go outside. And I really emphasize that outside word. You want to go outside? Then that will help him to make the connection in his mind. Okay, this is the bell. This is how I go outside. This is how I get rewarded to go play. And then you take him on a leash and take him out to a specific area in your yard. That's really going to help if you can designate a very specific area. And then completely ignore him. Don't engage him in any way. Don't make eye contact. I usually pick a spot on the horizon that I look at. Keep him moving. Keep him walking. But wait for him to go to the bathroom and then wait till he's done. And then when he's done, say, okay, good, outside, and reward him for going outside. And that's the routine that he's used to. That's what he's learned here. He's going to need to transfer that over to your home, but that's how to do it. And after just a few repetitions of that, he's going to understand that it's the same routine that we have here, and that'll come very naturally to him. So anyway, that pretty much wraps it up for Noah and his training demonstration. Whoops, he caught. He's done really well. He's got a great personality, very sweet. I think you're going to love him. Thanks.